Welcome to our Inside Energy podcast series. On this episode, we're talking a little bit about sustainability reporting and why companies are looking at sustainability reporting and how that all kind of works, and the tools that are available to kind of simplify and make things a bit easier. So I'm very fortunate to have Ashley with me again to help keep me on track and demystify some of the areas of sustainability that folks often talk about, but perhaps don't know what sits behind them. So, welcome, Ashley.
Hello. Let's jump right into it and just clarify, what is sustainability?
Well, sustainability as it relates to a business. Really, when we talk about a sustainable business, it can also be described as a green business, but it's a company that has a minimal negative impact, or actually sometimes a positive impact or effect on the global or local environment, the community, society, or economy. So it's really a business that's striving to deliver to its customers and its investors better processes that will make it more environmentally friendly and actually more profitable.
So I'm noticing there are a lot of companies that are newly becoming interested in sustainability reporting. Why do you think that is?
I think, there's a few things really. I mean, companies over the last 20 years, companies have been really stepping up the reporting that they do on their sustainability efforts. And I think there's a few things here. Some of them have realized that there is a real attraction from their consumers of their products and services, that they want to do businesses which are more environmentally responsible. That's for sure. Just look at the supermarkets where, for example, organic produce is now available widely throughout supermarkets. Wasn't the case 20 plus years ago, but the reason that it is now is there's been a significant interest and uptake of consumers looking for that type of product, which again, with it being organic, has a lesser impact on the environment. So I think really, if you look at the top areas of companies, why they're looking to do this, I think it's that they're trying to incorporate the principles of sustainability into their business decisions. They recognize that really these reports are supplying environmentally friendly, the details on the environmentally friendly products and services into the marketplace. So they're kind of giving you that validation and verification of those. They recognize that there are benefits for them being greener than other companies, more traditional companies. And it's also kind of a real underpinning of the fact that they've made a commitment to those environmental principles in its business operations, and are happy to put that down in writing and get independent verification of those efforts as well.
So these companies are gathering all this information, making these reports. Where do these reports go, or who's looking at them?
A lot of companies will do their corporate reports, and they really want to have more information about, as an organization, kind of what are they doing to be more mindful of the environmental, social aspects of running their business. So I think corporate reporting first and foremost, but more and more of them are actually reporting into third-party frameworks, so that they're not just kind of saying we're doing something. Now they've got some independent verification that what they are saying actually has some foundation and can be audited and verified. So that's super important. And there are many frameworks that will do this. Again, 20 years ago there was less than 5, but now there are many frameworks for all different types of industry. And I'll give you a few examples of those. But you have the CDP is one, for example. You'll submit your reporting, and it will be scored. And and that's very, very public, because you can go on and you can see exactly where your organisation ranks among your peers. So, it's important to get that right. And I think it makes a lot of companies nervous about reporting, because no one wants to be the one that, makes a report and looks dreadful. So it's important that they are finding a way to deal with not just the numerical aspects of reporting, but also the textual aspects of the reporting, to make sure it's consistent, and that, even though they're doing the right things, that they're able to position that to these reports, and the folks that look at them, they can easily and quickly see that, okay, I can see that these guys are, they're not just looking at the numbers, they're looking at the responses and making sure that they are doing everything in the right way.
Well, and you said there's multiple different frameworks to report to, so I know there's CDP, GRI, SASB, Robeco, SAM. That just seems like it could get really complicated when you have to report to multiple, right?
It can, and I think it does create challenges. So, and there are, you've mentioned a few there, and there are many more. And I think, it can get very complex, because when you're reporting into these different frameworks, the numbers are fine, because we have software which will gather and collect all your metrics, and it will validate the numerical values, and that's great. And our system is all about get the data in, get it clean, and use it many times. But when you're talking about the textual requirements for these different reporting frameworks, it's really important to make sure that is consistent across your different frameworks. Inconsistencies will be very quickly picked up on by analysts who are looking at organizations, and they will mark you poorly for that. And if you look at sustainability reporting currently, it's not just about companies wanting to be showcasing what they're doing. They recognize that investors are looking at this information too, so they want to make sure it's not just robust and auditable, but they want to make sure that what they're saying is not just consistent and accurate, but actually that it follows things like the GRI protocols, for example.
You brought up investors. Can you bring up any examples of big decisions that these investors are looking to make based off of these sustainability reports?
I think, you bring up a good question there. I mean, it's basically, let me answer it this way. Why are investors looking at these reports? And I think let's just step back a moment. An investor can look at a company's financial reporting and performance, and it can make its judgments based on those factors. The great thing about a sustainability report and the information they gather from there is it acts as a non-fiscal measure of a company's operational efficiency, and it will highlight to the investors what the weaknesses or risks may be in that organization. So, if there are practices that they feel are not going to be positively accepted by the markets, then they might want to be reducing their investment in those companies or trying to change them. And most recently, actually, we've had some very big investor groups like BlackRock have actually written to companies that they invest in and said, look, we actually are expecting you guys to report to this level on your sustainability metrics, so we can better understand what you're doing, so they can better understand what the risks are. So we've actually had a lot of organizations who are in that position come to us and say, look, okay, we need to provide this, but we actually need to provide it in a way that's robust and auditable. Can you help? And yeah, of course, we've got some software that can help in those, help them with that.
Yeah, tell me more about the software. What is it able to do? What do clients get out of it?
Well, first of all, the software is pulling in information from to report on your greenhouse gas emissions, or GHG reporting, as well as your CSR or corporate social responsibility metrics, and your environmental social governance. It really, I cannot understate how important it is that when you're doing these reports, you must use the right terminology and the right phrasing. A good example of this is that if you think about what analysts are doing, they are not reading your 100-page report. They are literally searching for keywords. And then they get those keywords and they make sure they can tick a box on, okay, are you complying to this particular aspect? If you do not use the correct terminology, they won't find you, won't find what you're doing, and they won't score you for it. And so it really is important that you do it in a way that can be consistent across your frameworks and is following the right protocols. So the nice thing about the author module, it absolutely does that. And it allows you to basically collaborate with your colleagues across the organization, across geographies, seamlessly. You won't no longer have Word documents flying around. It's a super module, really easy to use, that you can actually fire out tasks to people. Oh, we need to, fill this in. You can use some of what you did last year, but we need to reflect this, and they can just put back, and it's all instant right there in the system. So it's a really nice way of streamlining that whole textual aspect.
Yeah, I agree. I think the consistency in the textual aspect of reporting has been super well received.
No, it has. It does simplify things and removes an element of risk that's certainly been there. We've certainly seen that.
How long is the setup for all of this?
Surprisingly quick, actually, and it depends on whether you're reporting for the first time or whether you're an old hand at this and just and you have data that you want to bring in. But it's literally a few short weeks, so we're not talking about months. We're talking about a few short weeks to bring the information in and get you all set up, and then it's just a case of making sure that we've got the right elements in the software and the program that's going to reflect what your goals are for reporting. I mentioned previously, for example, the engagement with employees or vendors. So we have in the system supply chain survey modules that you can survey every one of your supply chain in seconds. It will email out to them. It will chase them. You can craft the questionnaires really well. You can devise the questions and answers in a way that will better engage with them and elicit higher response rates. And then it will actually bring back and give you a leaderboard of those vendors, so you can see really clearly which ones are more aligned with your goals. There are things like employee engagement, so you can get employee commuter surveys, for example, and it's again really well crafted, and so the employees can explain where they are, where they're located, how they travel to work, when they travel to work, how many miles. They can even select a vehicle and the type of engine type and fuel type. And then once that's all in there, it will actually do the calculations, so you can work out exactly what the emissions are, and are they car sharing and so on. So it's all sorts of things in there, and it's really cleverly done to take all the pain away. So all of the work is done behind the scenes in the software. It takes it away from you having to turn the handle on things.
Yeah, that's a lot of work already done for you. All right, so just in summary, what are the main features of this software?
There are quite a few, and I think the ones that our customers enjoy the most are the fact that it is the system's really easy to use with a lot of custom dashboards on there. They like the fact that they get data validation and cleaning at every step of the process. They like the fact that it's available across all different geographies and there's instant reporting available. And it's so clean. I mean, even if you were reporting into CDP, for example, you can go into the reporting, you can select the CDP report, and it will populate that report all ready for you to kind of print and send. It's very well done. The fact it's fully auditable is very powerful, especially at the moment when there's so much home working. Getting auditors in to do something can be tricky and costly. But because it has an audit function in here, the auditors can actually remotely log in and then go through and check everything that's been going on, all the calculations that have been made in the system. Because the system has those calculation methodologies independently verified, then it means that process is a lot faster for them to score and make sure that things have been done correctly. And then, of course, the fact that the system is it's accredited by the CDP, by DJSI Robocasan. I think in January it's going to be accredited by SASB. It's part of the GRI Certified Software and Tools program, and so on. So it's a very, very robust system. So I think that really helps. They've got confidence that what comes out of that system is going to be well received by the frameworks that are being reported into. But I think they also recognise that, aside from all of that, and aside from the fact that we have all the emissions factors in and we license all those for them, they like the fact that they can still really easily kind of customise it for what they need. And I'll give you an example for that. I mean, we have over 2,000 different business metrics in the system that can be selected. So it's incredibly comprehensive. But if a customer has a specific requirement that falls outside of that, well, we're a software company, so we can develop those pretty cost effectively. And if it's something that we feel will have a greater use than just for that particular customer, and I think it's going to be useful for other customers, then we'll actually subsidize that as well. So it's a great little tool, and lots of features in there for integrating with systems and APIs to bring data in, and so on. So I think what our customers find is when they go out and they look at what's available in the marketplace, they recognize that when it comes to sustainability, this is a true sustainability reporting system. It's not trying to be anything else. It's purely focused on that, with dedicated support, where if you want to phone up and have a conversation about the finer points of an ISO 14001, you can have that conversation with our folks at the other end. So it's not just the software, there's some really, really good support that underpins it, and I think that's really the value from this solution.
So what if somebody wants to talk more about the solution? Where can they go, or who can they contact? I think the first step is reach out to us. You can send us an email on info@vervantis.com, or you can contact us through the free phone number, which is 1-888 988 5474, and you can speak to one of our team there. But essentially, we're going to receive your information, we'll make contact, and we'll have a very short call to understand that to make sure we fully understand what your goals and objectives are, make sure that we're going to be a good fit for your requirements, and then we can give you a demonstration and walk you through how we'll deliver your program. And I think that's so the first step, send us an email, and then our team will walk you through and see how we can support you. If you have any more questions that you'd like to know, you've got the contact details there. Feel free to write in or call us and ask. We'll happily help. Thank you again for joining myself and Ashley. If you found this informative, then subscribe to the podcast, and we'll be regularly sending out more information about all things energy, utility, and sustainability.